Ladies and gentlemen, we meet again towards Parashat Tetzaveh with a beautiful, short and sweet idea as far as the special 8 garments that the Kohen Gadol had to wear. 4 of the garments were white and 4 of the garments had gold in them. What is this idea? 4 have to be white, 4 have to be of gold. The Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Reb Chaim ben Attar, lived 300 years ago in Morocco and then made Aliyah and was buried here in Yerushalayim. Or HaChaim HaKadosh says something very deep and beautiful. He says, internal beauty is always shown by white. External beauty is shown by gold. And all these garments are lechavod uletif'aret. Lechavod uletif'aret, if I would translate them, I would most likely say the issues of honor, of respect, of dignity, of splendor. But what is lechavod uletif'aret? Actually, lechavod uletif'aret is 2 different types of splendor, 2 different types of dignity, different types of honor. One is internal, one is the white that is the tiferet, that we know we're doing the right thing, we have the internal feeling that we are okay. And the second thing is the gold, is the chabod, is to show externally that we're doing the right thing, that he's doing the right thing, the Kohen Gadol. It has to be a combination of his of perfect internal feelings and thoughts and external projection in a perfect way, which is represented by gold. And with this combination of the internal world and the external world, those are the 8 different garments. However, 2 of the garments I'd like to focus on for a moment. 2 of the garments had a special word added to them, which is tamid. Tamid means always. The tzitz zahav, the plate he had to put on his forehead that said on it, Kodesh LaHashem, and was tied by tchelet, ribbon to the back of his head. It said Kodesh LaHashem on his forehead. It says it has to be al mitzchot tamid. It has to be on his forehead, on his forehead all the time. And the second garment that has to be all the time is his breastplate. The breastplate, which choshed, which has on it the 12 special stones with the names of the 12 tribes, has to be on him tamid, al libo tamid. Has to be on his chest all the time. What is interesting here is, what does it mean tamid? What do you mean he doesn't take it off ever? Of course he does. He has to take it off. When he goes to have a shower, when he goes to the toilet, when he goes to sleep, he must take it off. What's it mean all the time? So Rabbi Yehuda in the Talmud, in Yoma, page 7, says that al libo tamid means shelo yasiach da'ato mimenu. That means as long as he has this plate on his forehead that says Kodesh LaHashem, and as long as he has the breastplates, he has to be preoccupied with them. He has to think of them. He has to think of the deeper meaning of them. So what is the deeper meaning of them? Let's think of this for a moment. The deeper meaning of the plate on his forehead, which says Kodesh LaHashem, is on his brain. So his brain has to think about Shiviti Hashem L'Negdi Tamid. He has to think, I am standing in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and I'm representing Am Yisrael in front of the great. But what does he have to have in mind when he has the breastplate on? The breastplate doesn't say Kodesh LaHashem. It says the names of all the tribes. And that is, it says Al Libo Tamid. It has to be on his heart. That is not a thought. That is a feeling. And the feeling is he is representing all of Am Yisrael. He is representing everybody with no exception. And therefore his heart has to be with Am Yisrael, and his thoughts have to be that he's standing in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this, in fact, is an interesting insight. Shnei Tmidim Kilchatam. Those are the 2 things he has to be preoccupied with. He has to be preoccupied with the thoughts that he's standing in front of Hashem, and the thought and the feelings that he is representing all of Am Yisrael. And the Sefer HaChinuch in Mitzvah 99 has a very interesting insight there. And he brings this home. He says, it's not only the Kohen Gadol. We have a very similar mitzvah as well, opposite our brain and opposite our heart, which is tefillin. And it has a similar message. When we put on our tefillin, we have to also be preoccupied with the tefillin. As long as the tefillin are on us, we have to think about these tefillin. And what's that mean? It means when we put on the tefillin shel rosh next to our brain, we have to think like the Kohen Gadol that we're standing in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we put on tefillin shel yad opposite the heart, in order to feel we are davening as part of Am Yisrael. We're davening also for those people who cannot daven. It is very interesting, the continuation there of Sefer HaChinuch, who explains that it's true that our thoughts and our feelings bring about deeds, but the opposite is also very true. Our deeds arouse certain thoughts and feelings. And by putting on the tefillin, we should arouse the thought of standing in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We should arouse the thought that we are davening as part of Am Yisrael, and we're davening for the other people who are not davening at the moment. And it is true about, I think, anything special that we wear. I remember when I served in the IDF, and I served from the age of 19 in compulsory IDF, and then later in Miluim, in reserve duty till the age of 43. So 24 years I was in and out of IDF. When I was in, I had to wear a uniform. The moment I put on uniform, I think differently. I see things differently. Others expect of me different things, and I expect of myself different things. I'm sure some of you who are in medicine, the minute you put on your cloak or your stethoscope or whatever it is, you put on a certain piece of clothing, which makes other people see you in a different light, but it also makes you see yourself in a different light. So, Kohen Gadol, how much more so is it that he has to project this image of the kavod or the tiferet, but he also has to feel it internally that he is representing Am Yisrael in the most perfect way and asking for forgiveness for all of Am Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom.